Hello. Hello, Chris. Hello. I don't know who else is in the following the live feed at the moment, but yeah, welcome to the chat. The game has been restarted. 6 runs coming from the first over. Billy Bruce hitting 5 runs, Gareth with 1. And the first ball, this is John's first over. Second over of the game goes for a single from Gareth to put Billy back on strike. But I've sorted out the error. I had a bit of a server problem as well. Hopefully we can get through these innings quite quickly. And Ollie's now joined. Oh!
Hello.
So, hi Harrison, hi Ryan. We're going to try and get back through the game as quickly as possible. I can only apologise really to Billy and Tony, as they're the ones who were the notable performances from that first attempt to try and get this right.
Wait there.
Chris has pointed out my error, so I was looking out for Mr. Leather. And at the end of the over, it will say projected innings.
Who else is in the chat, may I ask, Beef?
Chris Beaton.
Oh, hello, Beaton.
He's joining us on the live mic. Anyone else with a PS4 at some point over the next few weeks is more than welcome to join. Don't want to have too many in the chat because your feed ends up being a bit lagged. So I'm now watching the fifth ball being bowled now. Oh, Ed! And a flying cut again! It's almost like the first game we think it. Flying catch from Mike G. And Greg's come to the crease a lot earlier than the first attempt. Let's see if he can get a million and a half striking as the end of the crease in the first over. This is the second over. First ball is defends, thinks about a single. Really goes no further. Insight into virtual Greg's game. Captain versus captain now, as Ben comes up to bowl against Greg. And he takes a single to get off the mark on his second ball. So welcome to Harrison and Ryan watching the live feed. Apparently there's 6 of us in here.
Yeah, but I think I'm 2 of them because I've got them on 2 different setups. I'm afraid. You've got 2 setups as well. Because I've got it on my laptop. I've got it on my laptop, on my computer, on my PlayStation. I've got all round.
Oh, ball going through mid-wicket.
All round cover.
It's a chase on. He's going to stop the boundary, and the second boundary of the game goes to Billy as well. Who's a score on to 11 from 8 balls. Half century got in the warm-up game, and he hits another ball till he's going to beat the fielder. Oh, brilliant. So John to bowl the first ball of the second over. Hit that down the ground for a single by Greg. Ball 1. With the fact at the end of the over it's giving you a projected score now, which is quite good. Try and skip a few replays to speed things along a little bit. idea what the pitch is like whatsoever. I've just had a notification on the PlayStation though, don't know if anyone else saw that, to say that my internet connection is not good enough for internet play. So let's hope my internet connection stays strong enough for broadcasting. In the WhatsApp chat or in the chat in the YouTube column of
yeah, I will say you are breaking up a little bit on my end, Beefy.
I can only apologise. I'll do my best. I might have to take things off the Wi-Fi. Get the speed up. Yes. Billy, since that first ball, he's gone at a run of ball. It's moved on to 4th and 5. Billy, that's Greg, sorry. And Billy's on 17, facing John now. John's already been a little bit pricey in this over. Let's see how he gets on. Yeah. Another single from Billy back down the ground. But the defensive field here, scared of the boundaries, I think, is Virtual Ben with his captain's field settings. Now we've got to find out when is he going to bring on Big H. And obviously, like we knew in the last game, Tony and Matt Hospital were equally as effective. Dot ball to finish the over, 24 for 1
I'm surprised in that 40 overs that we had, we didn't actually bring Lewis on to maybe mix it up a bit and bring a little bit of pace into the game, because obviously he has only got 2 pace bowlers in himself and as John Hill. So I'm surprised maybe in this game he might look at Lewis.
And also, don't forget,
he also has Droove as well, don't he?
Yeah, he does have Droove.
Boys.
Waiting. Oh, Ben just hit 90.3 miles per hour. Yes.
It's the only bowler I've ever met to make trench marks on a wicket.
Waiting.
By the looks of it, with obviously Greg having to pick his team, I think at the moment with Billy on 19 off of 13, I think that was a very good choice, a very good pick. I think he could be on for another 50, especially in the warm-up game we've just had.
Billy's looking like the go-to batsman, the linchpin of this red side. Oh, and there's a wicket gone. Billy is out early doors. The big man, 19.
May have spoke too early, Billy. Sorry. Sorry, Bill. Sorry, Bill. Save it when we're out of quarantine and we do get some cricket. I'd rather see some 50s on the pitch than on a virtual reality game.
Edge behind, diving one-handed catch by Monster. Fantastic.
So who is coming in now? I believe Stephen Thompson.
Harrison's coming into bowl. Getting him in early in the 6th over. It's 26
two fresh batsmen.
Yep.
Red's been in it only for 8 balls, so see what Harrison can do.
Singles for the first ball. Now he puts it in for the covers. Well, there was a deep wicket and a long on to Stephen. He's moved it over onto the leg side, hit the ball straight to point.
I'm not sure what Dad meant in that chat, but I'm sure you two will cover it.
Wait, yeah. good over from Harrison so far. Oh, and defended the next one. I think Greg and Stephen need to rebuild here after losing 2 early wickets. The Reds are in trouble in the warm-up game. They didn't lose their second wicket until the 16th over.
I think Beaton is in the same boat as me, as obviously we're on a bit of a delay to BP, so we kind of catch up after they're folded.
Isn't this virtual match special?
I'm afraid with obviously the quarantine happening. Obviously Sky Sports are at lockdown at the minute, so I couldn't actually get any of their footage or any of their camera equipment, but I'm sure as soon as we're back to normal, I'm sure they'll let me borrow it at some point. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we can get some players as well, get some legends in the mix. Come take a lovely trip down to Mears Ashby Cricket Club to come watch some club cricket.
Waiting.
Right, Ben's halfway through his third over here, bowling just over 90 miles per hour. Where's he picked up this extra steam from? I'm guessing the pitch is a little bit quicker than the warm-up pitch.
It must be his new knee.
Picked up 2 after edging it down. There's no slip in place there. There's Mike G when you need him.
Mike G's focusing on his batting.
Oh, that's an excellent shot that is by Stephen. Just pushes it to the just in front of the point to the boundary for 4. Takes him on to 8 from 8. 8 coming from the over.
Wait.
As you can see, Harrison's carrying on. Greg looked like he's trying to push that first single and straight to the fielder. What can do with his second ball.
Yep.
Greg pushes it down the ground for an easy single. Defensive field here for Harrison. Sensible thinking from Bertrand Ben, learning from his mistakes, I think. And Stephen punishes that ball for
It's bowled it shorter there. Short and a bit straight.
Stephen hits over the top, straight down the ground, doesn't carry, and the fielder actually gets round and cuts it off there. That looked like he did middle it, and he obviously didn't get all of it, and he took 2 in the end.
That's Tony Cole's fielding that. I've seen him run that fast.
Yes, nice bowling.
Interesting, it's gone the other way.
Oh, he edged it. Off to go safe. Oh, the left arm wrist spin of Matt Hoskins coming into the attack. First ball to Greg. Oh, he's in the field. Did he edge it? The umpire's given him. Greg is out for 8. Caught behind.
This is taking an interesting turn.
New batsman is Jack Gardner, coming in nice and early. This is the ninth over.
Wait there.
Hoskins, first ball, wicket. Jack Gardner, what sort of innings does he play now?
He does the same as last time. Doesn't need to go at a high strike rate here. He just needs to see himself in, get his confidence dialed up. You can see they're both red at the moment, so I guess it's a bowler's fixed to that in this game. What's going on? Sorry to interrupt you there, Chris. It looked like he played in a miss there, but the ball was very safe.
With Stephen and Jack both in as well. Both very good players in their right, but they're also two very different players. Jack will take his time, obviously rotating the striker, finding boundary where he is, with Stephen being a more aggressive batsman, but can also rain it down to rotate the strike as well, but then also has the big shots in his locker.
Harrison's continuing bowling the 10th over. Yep. Stephen takes a single. 4 men on the boundary, going straight down the ground from extra cover down to the wicket of the Royal Cow corner. So they've took your advice here, Chris. Very defensive field. Same for Greg. Same field for Greg.
Oh. Yes, nice bowling.
Hoskins looks chuffed with his first wicket.
Yeah.
First ball wicket even. Oh, thanks, Calvin. Can you just hear me? Hopefully I can correct that.
Yep.
Ooh! A bit of a mix up there. Stephen hits the ball straight at Jack. They thought about running. I went, nah, stop that. Is that any better, Calvin? Can you let me know if you can hear me any better? Agreed, but some good bowling here by Big H. Keeping it nice and tight. It's obviously a bowling friendly pitch. The batsmen have got to dig deep here.
Wait.
They're just 2 from that 10th over. I think a projected score 188. It would be they'd be pleased with 180. I think at the moment. Bit of a fielding change here, trying to stop that easy single that they're taking off Matt. For those that can hear me on the and are following the broadcast, please put a little message in the Virtual Cricket Info WhatsApp chat to let me know that you're in here, or on the comment section so I can welcome you. I believe Matt's in here, Calvin's in here. H, you still there? Ryan, you still there? Bowling's excellent. Oh, Payer's an edge! Definitely heard the noise there. Jack is gone. Caught behind.
I think it was the correct shot to play. I just think it's spun a little bit more than what he thought.
And that Hoskins. Batsman being crispy, and what would you do in this situation, Chris?
Look like you put a bit of muscle over there, winter, mate.
Hold your full one first up. Get you a quick single, that's a good start. Oh, big shot from Stephen. It's gone all the way for 6. Steve, let's... just had enough, he's had to hit out there. 86 metres, 6 distance, and they've changed bowling here. Harrison's come out, even though he bowled 2 tidy overs. Tony's come in to bowl his first over. It's a bowling deck,
bowl a bit wide to Stephen. Bowl a bit wide to Stephen and let him free his arms. That'll be the result.
Wait there.
Just over 5 and over.
Single there, I think, between Chris and Stephen. Yeah, let's move the run rate up to projected total, but the wickets column is the problem for the Reds at the moment. Yellows are definitely on top in this game.
You've obviously, if you've ever played with Stephen, yes, there was an easy single, but he's probably one of the unfittest youngsters I've ever played with. I think the game's actually on point with it. Easy single, but didn't take it.
Yep.
No.
Who's this? Who are we talking about? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, great shot by Stephen. Plays it behind point. There's a chase on. It looks like they're going to cut it off. Just. Could have run another, I think, but they're being sensible because of the wickets. Taking a comfortable 2. Stephen moving on to 25 from 21 balls. Stephen playing defensive shot. Last time he did that, he did get out. He's currently top scoring for the Reds at the moment. So maybe playing attacking shots is the way forward, but these two are here in another 20 overs. It could be interesting.
Waiting.
Oh, I agree. Hoskin, yeah.
I think the way Tony's going as well, I think he's just picked up the ball like he left off in the last match. Never good over from him.
This Yellows team seems dangerous with these 3 spinners. The fact they've got a left arm and orthodox, they've got an orthodox, then they've got a right arm off spinner, right arm leg spinner. You know, any pitch that's turning, they've got to be favourites surely going into a game.
Problem is though, with carry on, Beaton.
The confidence bar, which gives you indication of how confident the batsman's looking, is up to green at the moment. Chris is still in the red, so you would think he's in.
Yep.
Oh, lovely shot that one, Chris. That could go all the way. It's just been stopped on the boundary. They get 2 for their troubles. Taking Chris up to 5.
One thing I am worried about is, yes, he does have the spinners, but coming into the next game and the pitch doesn't do anything, what's his plan of attack then? Obviously, he has got Lewis and himself and John Hill to bowl pace. But what more does he have apart from the spinners?
Well, he's got John, as we all know. He's got himself. But then he has got Lewis as well, so that'll be his third seamer option. He hasn't even a third seamer at the moment. Tony to bowl his second over.
Yep.
Oh, slog! Slog by Stephen, goes for 4 to the square leg boundary. Excellent shot that by Stephen. As we look at the replay of the shot itself.
Found the gap absolutely
Gets
brilliant.
down nice and early, safely into the gap. 30 from 25. How's Tony going to respond? didn't even go to the umpire, so they weren't interested, but there is a fielding change going on. Ooh, ball on the boundary. Ball in the ring and one up close.
Interesting.
Ooh, played and
Nice
missed.
bowling.
Out of nowhere, we've got a game on our hands here. This is a contest and a half. You know, Stephen is trying to get the Reds into a competitive score.
His confidence has gone up, obviously, in the green now.
So being a good
Are they
response to the
seeing-
first shot.
Are they seeing Stephen as maybe a threat at the moment?
That's pushed away for a single.
He doesn't seem to like you on strike beaten.
Oh, so Chris has got one ball to face at the end of the over.
He's keeping you a little quiet.
And defensive shot. Hoskins
With a
returns
banana and a
lead
small suitcase.
with his third now.
Well, he's giving you the strike there, so let's see what you can do.
It's 4-5, single off the first.
You know, it has gone down the run rate at 4.86.
Lead off the first over.
So,
Oh,
Waiting.
where's he playing that to? I think Chris got caught in two minds.
hello Calvin, I hope you're okay.
How's that for sound, Calvin? Can you let me know now? Maybe it's your settings, mate. Can you hear me okay, Chris and Ollie? Yeah?
Can perfectly hear you okay, mate?
Thank you, thank you. I do appreciate that, as always.
Good to know. Don't want us lying to you.
Ryan's put, this is like watching Ashby's famous collapse. Who's that, sorry? Ooh, there's an appeal going on here. Did not look out to me. The umpire doesn't have any of it.
Calvin, if you could let us know, maybe the WhatsApp group or the YouTube group, let us know how you think you'd get on in the game, bowling and batting.
Oh, Stevens puts it down. Great bit of fielding on the boundary. Only a single. 3 from the over.
He's hogging the stroke a bit here.
What I will say though, that this is, they've now equalled the longest partnership regarding overs. The partnership's moved up to 22, which is the joint longest partnership. Greg and Stephen had the previous one.
Harrison returning.
Harrison returning. It's a good decision, I think. Brilliant. So these two are now moved. Had the highest partnership of the match so far. Moved on to 23.
Wait there.
They seem to be doing the right things at the moment. Chris supporting Stephen well. This is turning into a nice little knock.
Waiting. Yep.
Oh, it's gone to the boundary. The fielder completely missed it. This is going to be 4. What happened there? What happened
What a
there?
comedy
Who
of
knows?
errors.
That was a comedy. It looked like the batsman waiting, looked like the fielder was going to get it and just watched it.
Waiting.
Beefy, obviously. Carry on, Beaton. I will continue after.
After you. After you.
Waiting.
What I was going to say, Beefy, obviously, because you are sourcing out the final wherever the whatever teams are in the final, have we chosen a place of where the final will be played?
Wait there.
Oh, it's going to be Mears Ashby, of course.
At Mears Ashby.
Right, it's end of Harrison over there. He shouldn't have gone for the 4 in the first ball, but Hoskins to bowl his 5th now. trying to find the gap between looks like mid-on and extra cover. Changing the field as I saw what was happening. Oh no, there's a massive gap there around about the mid-off area, I believe. That attempter, because the pitch is obviously playing as a bowling pitch, as you can tell by the wickets that have gone down so far in this match. But these two are showing how to bat on this pitch between them. This is a lovely partnership between Chris and Stephen so far.
I can't read what Calvin has put, if any of you can clarify. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Maybe it's... If Chris is talking in your chat, in game, I can't hear him. Oh, I don't know what's going on with your feed there, Calvin. Are you watching ball down the ground? There's no fielder there. This will be a chase. Ball slowed down. Unfortunately, it's a slow outfield here. To get a two from Chris, losing 13 from 19. So yeah, let us know how you're watching, Calvin. See if we can help with your feed. Is anyone else having any problems? Can you let us know? Stephen, Chris, sorry, takes yet another single going down the ground. He's hogging the strike this time, but the important thing, 6 comes from that over.
82 for 4 for 17. Interesting ring there.
For some reason they can't hear you, Chris, but they can hear me and Ollie fine. Chris has come out with some brilliant one-liners, boys. You're missing out on an absolute treat of commentary. Ryan thinks that I'm an expert. You should listen to Chris. He's a natural. Straight down the crown by Stephen, taking on the fielder there for 1. Oh, it's an excellent shot there by Chris. He's taking Harrison on and he's hitting for 4 down to the corner boundary. 19 from 23 beaten goes to.
It might have gone for 4, but I think that was...
Harrison
it might have gone for 4, but it looked like a very ugly shot to me.
Hobbo wants more stats. I can't give you... Do you know what, Matt? I had loads of stats wrote down the first time, but as it's the second time going through, I've just done really short stats, but... No, you hit one off Harrison before. You remember when the fielder just watched the ball go past? That was you as well.
Waiting.
7 coming from that 18th over from Harrison. And these two have been at the crease together now for 7 overs. Chris joined Stephen in the 11th. And when it was 49 for 4. So this partnership is coming along nicely. Only a little bit though. Oh, Tony.
Waiting.
Brilliant, that is brilliant. Tony is bowling to Stephen as we speak. They've got ball first up.
I will admit, though, looking at Greg's team, the two bowlers that I'm actually quite excited to see.
It's a race on. Is it going to be? It's going to go for 4. 41 from 41. Bruises swung right back up to 100.
The two bowlers I'm quite interested in Greg's team, we've got Calvin Green, which obviously we've seen right at the end of the first game. But also for spin, he's also got Jason Millard, which I think will be very interesting.
Jason will be dangerous by the looks of this pitch. It's definitely a bowler's pitch. Your score could be anywhere over 180. It's going to be a good score on this. It's going to be hard to chase. Batting second as well.
I will say, whoever has got their volume on, turn it down a bit because I can't hear myself.
I think it's Chris. Chris, you turn your volume down, mate. Just a little bit.
Who's got volume on there? Unless someone's headphones are a bit too loud. But apart from that four, a nice tidy over from Tony.
Yeah, very tidy. Harrison is back into the attack, should we say, because he's changed ends by the looks of it.
And he's only gone for 23 as well. He seems to have brought his pace up a little bit as well, from 52 mile an hour all the way up to 58. Yeah, can't we hear Chris? Can't hear Chris apparently.
I've got no idea why people can't hear Chris. Can we try something? Ollie. just want to try something. Ollie, you want to leave our chat, so it's just me and Chris in here, and come back in.
Give me a minute.
Oh, that's a great shot round the corner from Chris. That's going to go for 4. Takes the score up to 25 from 28. Well, I'm going to try something. What I'm thinking is that maybe only it allows 2 people to talk at any one time on the broadcast. That could be the only thing I can think of. So Dan's really enjoying just me and Ollie talking to someone else on the gun here.
Yep.
It's a good shot down the ground by Chris. And I believe that's going to take up their 50 partnership for Chris and Stephen. Congratulations for 55 balls. It's the first 50 partnership of the tournament. We've got to be followed that. Under the 20th over, it's 99 for 4, ladies and gentlemen. Can anyone hear Chris now? Because Ollie has left our chat. Can someone let us know on the WhatsApp chat if you can hear Chris now? Chris, would you like to speak? You didn't know what to say, did you? Single from Chris, first of all. No one can... Okay, this is... I've got no idea, guys. No idea at all. We can hear Chris loud and clear. And it's played round the corner by Stephen for 4. Stephen's now moving score on to 45 and 46. Surely a 50 is on the card here, if not bigger. Oh, switch hit from Stephen. There's a fielder out there. He only gets a single for it. Someone's getting impatient, I think. Out to third man. So Chris thinks he's found his technical problem and he might be able to speak to everyone shortly, but just give us a few more minutes. I'll talk to everyone on my own for now.
Yep, wait.
So I've got to pass on to everybody that once Chris can be heard by everybody, that you have to, as he seemed to have done a single on the run before, takes a single off the last ball of that over, 107 for 421. That once he starts speaking, if people wanting to re-mute his microphone, that you're going to have to let us know on the WhatsApp chat, boys. So expensive over. John's coming back in for his third over. 10 for 1 off his 2 so far. Can a fast bowler make the difference? Interesting field here to Stephen.
To let you know, you have added you back.
Goes all the way for 6 and brings up his 50. He's done it off 50 balls.
To let you know, you have brought me back.
So, Chris, have you been able to work out what the problem is? Do you know what the problem was?
Yep.
Have you done? Oh, have you changed it now? Okay, right. So Chris is trying to work out how to share his audio with you. Apparently, he hasn't given us permission to share it. As we see the replay of Stephen hitting another 4. This over is becoming expensive already. Set batsman into his 50s now.
Waiting.
Can people hear Chris now? Please let us know on the chat. He thinks he's now live. No, we can't hear Chris. Oh, we can't. Go back to your settings, Chris, and try and work out where you've gone wrong on that. So,
I just don't think people want to hear him.
Perhaps you've got to leave the chat and rejoin it again, Chris. Include what? Yeah, you need that. That's the option you need. A dot ball to finish the over. 10 off it. Still expensive. Stephen's wagon wheel looks quite impressive. 2 big 6s in there.
To let you know, you can't do the morning Vietnam again because obviously you've already done it.
And Ollie, everyone can hear you, so you just sport the surprise anyway. Tony Cole's the ball is 5th over.
I didn't want to hear it twice.
Single from Chris moves his score to 39 from 33 balls.
After some big hitting from Stephen, the run rate has actually gone up.
Wait.
Okay, Chris thinks he's going to have another attempt to resolve his problems. He'll be back in shortly. As we are talking you through a Tony Coles over to Stephen Thompson on strike. 4 men on the boundary. And he's been bowled middle stump! He's got stump first part of flying. Stephen Thompson, 57 from 57, bowled Tony Coles.
Tony, he's just carried on from where he left off. So it brought up another wicket. He got Stephen, a brilliant 57 off of 57, but very well bowled from Tony. Bringing Ben Cole's team back into the game.
Will Furness comes into that. Will Furness, 118 for 5 now.
Just to let you know, a very good partnership. Just to let you know, Beefy, I can still hear myself, so it might be your headset. It's not too bad. I'm pretty sure I couldn't hear it on the video itself.
Let's try that.
But not to worry, Will comes in and faces the first ball and blocks it. Tony in for his next one.
You're ball behind, Wally. You give up.
I know I'm a ball behind, but you wasn't talking.
So Will needs to see himself in. As you can see, everyone underneath his name is a red bar. We need that to go green, a bit like Chris's bar, for him to be in. So the Reds have still got a long way to go here. 118 for 5 off 23. There's 17 overs to go.
Another brilliant over from Tony as well. Another brilliant over from Tony.
Makes the breakthrough again.
John Hill, very expensive in the last over, but obviously with the breakthrough of Stephen.
Should have ran for 2 there, I think.
I think looking at it, Will actually turned round to do the run, and Beaton obviously turned him round.
Wait.
Fielders are in. So, Chris, do you reckon you've sorted out your audio problems now? So everyone's got to brace themselves. As Chris has got another theory, as we see Will take his get off the mark, saves the duck award going to him. There was a no ball
And it's a no,
as well.
it's a no ball.
3 hits signals the umpire. Massive no ball.
What will Will do with it though?
It's Chris. It's on strikes. They took the single. Oh, he's hit it straight down the ground. It's probably going to be caught here. The fielder underneath it. They're running 2. They've run 2 comfortably. Chris couldn't quite clear the boundary. 32 from 35 is Chris now. If people are in the chat, as soon as you can hear Chris, you've got to let us know.
Obviously, if you don't want to hear him, just let us know.
Matt Holson, that's a good point. We may need to revert the game back to an 8-over match to give Chris enough time to sort out his microphone.
Beaton, can I give you a bit of advice that might help? Grab some scissors and cut the wire, that might help.
Dan's not sure that'll be enough. Some good little bit of banter going on here. But Chris is flying along at the moment, 32 from 37, and he's just edged it behind. Chris has just lost his wicket, 32 from...
He's lost his wicket. No swearing, please.
You may not be asking anything, but we definitely can. It's not happening. Chris is definitely having a go at himself on the chat, people.
He's lost his wicket.
Into bowl. There's 2 new batsmen at the crease. Can the Reds get to 150?
He's lost his wicket. He's lost his headset. What's he going to lose next? I'll let you comment in the section below if you want to. What you think he'll lose next. I've got some England mind at those, but I can't say it. Thank you, Ben. See you later.
Right, I think that might be my voice on here.
Ball there. Oh, can anyone hear Chris's voice now?
Please say no, just for a laugh.
Commentator's curse, that was apparently. Ryan's blaming the commentator. Oh, he's been bowled!
I am alive. Flash Gordon.
Yes, he has been heard. Chris Beaton is on the chat. But Will has just got out.
Well, that was good timing, because now I can focus on the game rather than my batting.
It's alright, you weren't missing a lot when you was batting. It's alright, mate, I've got a bat tomorrow.
When Fernando comes out.
Yeah, is there anything you're going to do from now until then to prepare for it?
Have my dinner.
Right.
Probably do a bit of a Steve Smith ritual, probably be shadow batting in the bedroom.
That's terrible fielding on the boundary. Dinny's first ball goes for 4. Is this a sign of intent from Dinny? He thinks, sod it. You know what? We're not going to bat the 40 overs out. So I'm just going to get on with it. Oh, he does exactly the same shot again. Is the fielder gets another chance of a reprieve? Yes. He just flicks it back though.
Was you preparing yourself at all, Beaton, for your interesting
Chris,
innings?
apparently people can hear you.
I know. Praise the cricketing gods.
Apparently you're too loud. You need to move the mic away from the mouth a little bit.
I know, I have lowered the audio to soften my dulcet tones. And yeah, if that's a bit better, Calvin, please let me know.
You need to move your mic away from your mouth. It's a bit fuzzy.
Oh, the reason was I was testing the audio. Bit of sound check. You wouldn't know this in broadcasting. They do a thing called sound check.
I ain't got a clue what I'm doing. I'm making it up as I go along. But 7 wickets down for the Reds here. They are in trouble. Oh! Left a straight one on the toes. Umpire's not interested. John's into his 5th over here.
Right, now with Dimmy Fernando here, the one thing we can say is this is going to be eventful.
I think with both Calvin and Dimmy it's going to be eventful. I think we're just going to start whacking the ball to all parts. But John's bowling really well to him at the moment.
Wait, yep.
Right, as everyone can now hear Chris and Ollie, this commentator is going to take a 5-minute break. I'll be back with you very shortly. I'll leave you in their capable hands. Don't forget, you can't do ball by ball because you have a lag. Oh! Chris gets on back to go. Calvin gets the deck. It's a great ball. First block of the tournament. Being wicket 30 for 8. Mike's having a great game. He's now taking 5 catches everywhere. There's a stat for you, Hobbo.
Yes, and I believe that is the first time in about 20 years that someone has taken 5 catches at Mears Ashby.
I'll give you another fact for you. There's been a wicket in each of the last 4 overs now. The Reds are having a batting collapse and a half as Jason Millard places them round the corner.
Interesting start from Millard.
I know, he's a changed one.
Is that changed or thinner?
Hobbo appreciates the little fact there. Did you like the fact about the wicket every over? I am going to have this 5-minute break because I really need to go and have a refresh. I'll be back shortly. Leave me a kiss now.
Got a cigarette?
Yeah, that's street tour in Northampton for Siggy.
Yeah.
So, I suppose the thing to ask, Ollie, is how do you think this is going to go? 8 down now, 132 for 8, with still about 14 overs to go. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing it very positively here at the minute.
No, I'm not at the minute. I think if these two could stay in, because they are both quite quick run scorers, so you can get quite a few runs, but I don't think they will see the overs out. So we could have some fireworks coming in soon, but I don't think they'll see the overs out.
No, and that's always the danger with counter-attacking from the off.
Right there.
Cole's bowling in here. Dot out to square leg by Millard. That's picked up. Dot ball there.
Like we said, we're on a bit of a delay, so obviously we're seeing the ball way after that you've seen it, which is quite a bit of a shame.
Well, if you're seeing a delay and I'm seeing a delay, is it just Beefy that's seeing a delay?
Beefy isn't seeing a delay because obviously he's on the live, so he'll be seeing it. I know, but time.
What I mean is everyone seeing a delay but Beefy? Please let us know in the chat. It would be interesting to know.
Everyone else is on a bit of a delay because obviously they're seeing it a bit later. Obviously our commentary is delayed from the video that's live, because the video will be live and he'll be doing the live commentary, but we're late because we're seeing the video at a different time.
Well, end of the over there. Antonio, did you expect keeping everything on a nice, good, consistent length there? You miss, I hit. Continue.
The run rate has dipped down slightly to just below 5 and over, so obviously them wickets have taken its toll. Oh, he's hit it straight into the stumps. Could it be a run out? No.
Hill now looking to come around the wicket. Ooh. ball, a little bit of an edge behind there, but safe. Wicketkeeper collects from behind, and that's another dot ball. Pressure continues to mount as we go into the 27th over, and they start to approach the back end of this innings. Shot straight out to long extra cover, fielded in, just the single again. Oh, a terrific shot there from Miller, straight through the covers for 4, down the boundary, hard off the middle, and that will go some way to relieving the pressure off these two batsmen, because of course, Ollie, the problem they have here is typically this is the point you would want to start to accelerate the innings and get it moving. However, with a lack of wickets, there's only so much they can do. The aim will probably just be to last out the overs from here.
Interesting shot from
we
Miller.
Just see.
Good to see Spencer, Calvin Green's eldest son, hopefully going to be a member of Ashby Cricket Club in the near future. Glad to see he's joined. Hello, Spencer.
Yes, good to see you, Spencer. Hope you're enjoying the coverage as it unfolds today. Live at the Mears Ashby Cricket Ground as Hoskins again comes and bowls in. And Millard against the spin, fires it into the covers, picked up there for no run. Again, continuing. Fired in, this time out to square leg and again fielded out. We'll watch again now. Bowled in, and again for no run.
Like we said, obviously, when we're chatting, we're seeing it in the time that we're seeing. Obviously, you've probably already seen the ball. But I'm afraid that's all we can do at the moment.
Indeed. Unless you want to hear the equivalent of a 1930s black and white mute film, we will continue as we are live here from the Mears Ashby Cricket Ground.
Yep.
As Hoskins again comes into bowl over the wicket, and again that's hit out straight, found the gap. They're going to take just the single here, possibly 2 there, Ollie, do you reckon?
Should have possibly been 2. Obviously they don't want to risk anything at the moment with all the overs that they've got, and with the wickets in hand, because obviously they are 8 down, so I think just not taking any risks at the minute. Yeah, 1 was, I think, the correct decision. Could have pushed for 2, but you don't want to risk it. Good to see
Indeed,
Lewis Coles is on the... Lewis Coles, first time he's going to have a bowl.
Indeed. And the captain clearly thinking, Ben Coles, that a bit of X factor required. However, that's pulled just into backward square. They take the single.
Lewis is known obviously as a batting all-rounder, so he is a bit of a part-time bowler, but I think he can still bring something to the game in his bowling.
Ball, and a dot ball there, locked out by Millard. And I think you're exactly right, Ollie.
I believe that is Dimmy actually on strike, mate. As you can see, the little star next to the O in his name, and they, not to sound horrible, they are both different colours.
Indeed, and if you know me, there's a reason I wear contact lenses.
So yes, 2 for Dibby, 12 off of 17 with Lewis now running in on R4, and just a nice little drive. Dot ball, tidy over from Lewis at the moment, only 3 off of 4 balls.
Indeed, and Lewis in again.
And another drive. Playing to his field, absolutely lovely. I am quite surprised that Lewis, I'm pretty sure Lewis is only, what, 18 now? Possibly 19, and he's already bowled. So that's an interesting one, with Mike Chi taking a dive, to say save a run, and that is the 30th over.
Indeed, and a change of approach there, looking to just bang in the short balls and ruffle up the two batsmen here.
Also, it was a slower ball as well, at only 77 mile an hour.
And Hoskins to continue again here. That's found the man at mid-wicket for no run. I will say here, Hoskins has had a very impressive game. Just kept it nice and tight, on a tight line.
Ryan, I'm afraid to say that is a Mike G at slip. He has been working on his fitness and his diving ability in the winter.
Indeed, this has been a 2-year recurring programme for Mike ever since he got himself onto a keto programme.
He's found the gap and the 4. Dimmy, is it a lovely 4? Just cleared. I think I was a bit lazy from the fielder though.
I'd agree, certainly, Ollie. Plenty of time to get round to that. Just seemed to give up. And as you see, just bounces just in front, just a little hand possibly. Maybe the momentum was a little too much to swing round and chin it. But here we are.
It looks like Dimmy has took a liking to Hoskins. That's another 4, back-to-back 4s.
Cracking shot. I do wonder whether this will be the end of Matt Hoskins' spell at the end of this, as we watch a terrific cover drive straight through. Terrific balance there from Fernando as it crashes straight to the boundary, and Hoskins will be looking to reply here. He will not like that as it comes in leg side, and Fernando again straight out to the man there, comes back in. They will take the single. Fantastic over from these two here. This is exactly what we were hoping they would do. And block there for no run.
A random appeal as well.
Indeed, but umpire having none of it, and that is the end of the 31st over. Again, looking at the graph, just a little bit wide potentially from Hoskins there. Maybe a bit tired, deep into his spell.
Good to see Lewis carrying on. I think he's
noticed it full.
I think he's realised that Dimmy does like to free his arm, so he starts him off with a Yorker.
Yeah, I think we've seen Dimmy does love a drive outside the off stump.
Greg Rees,
so
good to see the captain. Good to see the captain commenting on the WhatsApp group. He'd take 180 here. I believe so, Greg. I would take 180 here too. But also, yes, they might be batting, but I can't wait to see Dimmy bowling at probably close to 100 mile an hour, and also Jason turning the ball with Dimmy absolutely playing a
terrific shot through backward point there. Terrific shot through backward point. Just a little flick of the wrist straight there, using the pace of Coles to hit that straight through to the boundary. Another terrific shot, and I'll tell you what, these two are starting a little bit of a fight back. Call it commentator's curse.
Well, I will call it commentator's curse, but I think they are playing absolutely brilliantly for the situation that they're in.
Indeed, and maybe the predictions of taking 180 for here were a little bit premature.
Matt Hobson
Someone forgot their crystal ball perhaps today.
Matt Hobson has turned around and says he's rolled the dice on this batting order, but I'll tell you something, these two lower order batsmen seem to be doing a job for Greg as captain.
I can only agree, and a little bit short there from Coles as it's turned off the back foot through to square leg. No run, however.
There has been a field change, so what is Lewis going to be bowling to him to make this field change work? Very well bowled. I think he didn't have a clue where that was going. Only 4 off it from Lewis, very well bowled.
Indeed. Seemed a little bit at sea there, and a little bit through the shot a little bit early there, went straight through the gate.
Ben Cole has brought himself back on. With his 4
well, he's clearly learnt well. He's clearly learnt well from his mentor Stuart Gray there. On for yet another spell. Oh!
No Millard on strike. He's doing right. He's being a support player for Dimmy at the moment. But don't get me wrong, Millard can swing a bat and he can also hit some very big boundaries when he needs to. But he also knows that he's only got 7.4 overs at the moment to go.
Indeed, and this again is the conundrum that they have. Both of them could go out swinging, however, only 2 wickets left.
Ben Cole keeping it very tidy at the moment. 3 dots. You're probably going to be seeing the ball being bowled probably about now. And we're only seeing him running. Another very good ball from Ben Cole. Is he doing a big test?
I would say though, a very rash shot though for Millard. Not the shot I would have chosen there with a square cut. I would have gone straight back down the ground to him. Is he starting to get a bit impatient? I think so, as he tries to smash that through to extra cover for no run. I think we are seeing Fort Millard fall here as we come to the final ball of the 33rd over as Coles runs in, charges in, gives it the full whack, and that will just go little dink for a dot ball end of the over.
Lovely maiden from Ben. Is he doing
doing some great work? I can hear you from the other room. Brilliant stuff.
Hobson has just asked, do they get the overs if they bowl them out?
No, they don't hover on this one.
Bowls here, Coles. A little bit too full, straight down to the mid-on. It's the man at long mid-on, picks it up there for a single.
Well, what's just
once again.
Lewis bowling round the wicket to Millard. Takes out LBW, that's a great shot through mid-wicket.
It just shows how much of a delay
And it's gone for 4.
Shows how much of a delay we are on because he's only just hit the ball.
No, that was just the quick bowling of Ben Coles.
Just to explain to those that don't know at the moment, basically I'm the only person with the live feed in real time. As there's another shot go through mid-wicket, and that will be another 4 back-to-back forwards for Millard, 18 from 22. So when you guys are getting the screen is when Ollie and Chris can talk about it, but so they're getting a lag of about 5 or 6 seconds. That's why they will talk about a shot or 4 way after you guys will see it. So that's the reason. Just a bit of a lag.
I'm following it on YouTube on my laptop, so I'll get the video, but I'm probably talking about it way before.
By the way, if anyone in the that is watching along with the feed wants to join in the chat, we're talking on a PS4 party chat. So if anyone's got PS4 and they fancy it, as there's a big shot played by Millard over mid-wicket, 1 bounce, 2 bounce 4. Expensive over this so far. I think it's the death overs. They're obviously always good to tell at this point. Dangerous shot.
I did tell you beat him. He might seem a bit under pressure, but he can still open his shoulders and play them big shots.
Yes,
indeed, I can only agree with you, Ollie. What do I know? I am just an accountant, not a cricket commentator. And evidence there as Millard pummels it straight for 4.
13 coming from that cold over from 1 to 8. 172 for 8 off 34. There's 6 overs to go. Even if they just stay in and get singles, they'll get scored near 190.
Waiting.
But Beefy, Greg, can we really see these two taking singles? Goes against the very fabric of their DNA. Sorry, Ollie.
So Greg, obviously you're in the WhatsApp group and obviously watching this as captain. You did say you'd take 180 at this point. What's your point of change now, obviously being at 172?
Lovely shot by Dimmy through the covers for 4. As a, yeah, I'm intrigued what Greg would have took 180 when we asked him 3 or 4 overs ago. The score's now it's 176 for 8, 2 wickets in hand. Phil Edwards is the number 11. As
Legend Phil Edwards, legendary.
Wait there.
He doesn't get it off the square. What score would he take now? It looked early on.
He's got to be easily looking at 200.
Get small steps, I suppose. There's has been a reply in the chat. Chris Love, Dimmy is doing his bits.
Yeah, just to go back to you, Ollie, as goes in mythical lore, Rome was not built in a day, just little small steps. The aim will be firstly to hit that 180, which should be a very achievable target from here, and then, as you say, to push on to the 200. From there, I think the sky's the limit. If both these two are still in by the 200
Is he going
mark...
to go all the way? It's for 6! Jimmy clears the boundary, takes the score to 38 off 35. Out of nowhere, this over's gone for 12 off Ben. These death overs are not being too kind to these fast bowlers. And
I will be very honest, I was very annoyed when he picked Dinny because he was actually my next pick, but he picked him right in front of me.
He who snoozes loses, Ollie, and what am I saying about small steps? That's a massive leap. Straight over the top for 6.
I will say that this partnership has reached 50. They came in at 130 for 8, so they're on 54 partnership, and they've done that in 9 overs as Lewis bowls to Jason. And he's bowled him! He gets the wicket he's been looking for. Jason Millard goes.
I think from that last over, if you take away the last over that Lewis has bowled, he's actually bowled very well. So I believe he does deserve that wicket. Just clipping the top of the wicket.
I'm sorry, but I disagree with you, Ollie. I think that is a huge mistake from the batsman there. What is he doing, stepping away from the ball there?
It must be too quick for him.
He's unsure, and I feel like all the hard work that they've put together has been ruined in the blink of an eye.
Could be Lewis should be able to wrap the tail here. Really flying along. It's now the second highest score in the inning for 38. Needs to get back on strike here.
Indeed. Lewis, the lion, on the Mears Ashby Prairie, chasing his prey, playing with it, waiting for the kill, the final bite, the crash of the wickets.
And the wicket again. Still defends. He's happy to see this off. Yeah. If I was Greg here, I'd be happy for his batsmen just to see out a maiden, so Dimmy can be on strike from the beginning of the next over.
Yeah. Greg, if you're here in the WhatsApp chat, it would be interesting to see whether you gave any instructions to Phil as he went out. Was your instruction just to stay there and try to give Dimmy the strike?
Oh, and Phil takes a single off the last ball. What's he doing? The captain in the hurt is probably going insane. Good over that from Lewis there.
It's alright, because if Dan has muted it, he's going to get hammered in the game tomorrow against my team.
I think it was the lion chasing the prairie.
Look, Shakespeare was ahead of his time, and the great poet Chris Beaton is as well.
You're not a poet, you're an accountant.
Well, that's true.
So flick round the corner from Phil. Looks like a single. Dimmy's back on strike now. This is the guy they want. Can he get the Reds up to the 200 mark?
I'm still surprised he's got Edwards batting at 11, but where'd you put him in front of everyone else?
It's a very strong batting line.
Well, considering the calibre of Edwards, what is the tactic? Is it for Dimmy to milk the strike or proceed as normal? Don't overthink it.
I think just Edwards has got to use the new hip that he got a few years ago and start getting it a bit loose and bat the way he does.
And he takes another single. That's all you've got to do at this stage. You'll get the score easily over 200 by just milking the singles, as Hobbo knows too well.
As we know from a cricket club, that we've played quite a few times, all you got to do is save a single.
I still think old habits are going to die hard for Dimmy though, and one wrong swing of the bat is going to bring the innings to a close.
As Ben bowls to Dimmy, Dimmy just puts it into the covers for the dot. Ends the over, all coming from it. Wickets in hand is the problem for the Reds. Are they going to get over 200 as Lewis comes to bowl his fifth over?
Yes, Matt Hobson, glass of milk, excellent source of protein. That is my health advice for the day.
And it's going to be a 2 for Phil from the first ball. That will help with his confidence. As everyone can see, it's in the red at the moment. 5 from 9. Then he's the man that will run a ball. This comes into goal. Ball. Straight to the fielder. Lewis again. Didn't quite pick that up. More edge, a little bit edgy. Another top over here. I think the Reds are now onto a good score. We saw how the pitch was playing up earlier with the.
Waiting.
It's another dot ball. Saw the Reds were in trouble at 49 for 4. Chris and Stevens 50 partnership got 57. Oh, he ended up with 69 partnership between Stephen and Chris to take it back up to 185. But even then, they're going to be happy with a score of 180 before the partnership. Firstly, between Chris and Dimmy, 54 runs they got. Took the score from 130 for 8 up to 184 for 9. Of the Yellows let this slip away from them. Ben, what are your thoughts?
And just following on from
that. Phil. Right on the up.
Oh, the cracking shot.
A terrific shot through extra cover. Picture perfect, paint a portrait. But yeah, just following on from that, Beefy, as we see that for, do we think it was a mistake perhaps to bring the pace back on? I know it brought early rewards, but it seemed the way to go was to use the slow bowlers and the pitch.
It seemed to be that the spin bowlers did take most of the wickets. John and Ben got the openers. Matt Hoskins taking the next 2, Greg and Jack. As we see, Phil hit the ball down to Cal corner for 1. But then Tony picked up a couple more, John picked up a couple more, so I think the spin was the problem, but John and Ben had taken their wickets as well, and Lewis now, as we've seen. But yeah, spin seems to be the problem, and the Reds do have Millard in the locker. If they're going to use him, I wonder.
And they've also got Greg as well.
I've got some options there in that team. Oh, and
Indeed.
Dimmy hits out. There's a fielder in that area, but it looks like you're going to miss him. Fielder gets round and cuts it off, and they run a 2 by the looks of it. Dimmy taking his score to 42 from 42. Dimmy got ball there, the 5th ball of the 39th over. One more ball left for Ben to bowl. 1 for 43 off his 7.5 so far. And he stopped Dimmy from getting another boundary here. There is the Cal corner option. And they're appealing. No, I heard that there. Didn't even go to the umpire. They just got a little bit excited. And Harrison's going to bowl the very last over. This is an interesting one. Dimmy took a single off the last ball, so he's on strike as well. No one at Cal corner. Where's this going to go? And he plays it back at points for a single. That brings the score for 200. The captain must be pleased with this performance from his tail enders to get the score from 130 for 8 up to 200 here. And Phil lashes out. He's been caught. And they get to 200 and they're bowled out.
What did I say? I told you 200. Exactly on it.
You're
They
right.
managed to pretty much spread out the overs. Don't know who took that wicket there. Didn't come up on the screen. There we go. Sydney took the wicket. Harrison taking the penultimate one. Deserving wicket, I believe. 4 for 49. There was problems there, but they've 2 50-run partnerships managed to get the score at 200. And out comes Matt Hobson, along with Drew Patel, I believe.
Well, they're just looking to get things going from the start here. No
Give us
messing
a minute,
around.
I will be back. Hang on.
Phil Edwards is coming in. Ben Cole
Hobson, you could argue natural.
yeah.
Hobson, you could argue natural opener, but Drew certainly more of the Johnny Bairstow calibre, looking to pinch hit from the off and get off to a quick start. A little shot down there.
So 201 runs needed off 239 balls. Can they do it? About 5 and over. That's an excellent shot there, straight to point.
I think the lessons they would have learnt will have been firstly from the pitch and from the mistakes made of the other team, Beefy. Firstly, they will know that the spin is the way to go here, but also they will know not to start hitting out from the off the loss of wickets.
Yeah, the spin was the option in the as Drew faces his first ball now. Spin was the go-to early on after the openers fell. Openers falling for not very many runs. Spin taking the next couple of next 3 wickets, in fact. This could be interesting. The interesting chase here on a pitch that's obviously going to deteriorate.
Yeah, is the toss going to be the telling factor?
Could well be. Just to remind everyone, Greg did win the toss, I believe. And what happened there? No idea. Seems to be a gone ball. Greg won the toss, and I believe he elected to. And Jason Millard is going to open from the other end.
Right move. Take the pace off the ball. Use the deteriorating pitch early. Use the new ball. Little bit of grip off the seam.
The captains actually chose who the openers were. Greg chose Millard to bowl his second over last night while he was deliberating on his team. It could turn out to be a excellent decision if he takes in a good early wicket here. Harrison and Dan, be nice to each other. Remember, you love each other.
Indeed, we're all one happy, jappy, clappy, Mears Ashby family here.
Word. There we go, we've had it. You wait until you see Dan's character tomorrow. Anyway, moving swiftly on. This has been interesting over early on. Matt Hobson on strike. He's played a single into the gap, wide of mid-off. Virtual match special here, brought to you live by myself, Chris and Ollie. Hope you're enjoying the commentary as Drew faces Jason Millard. He takes a single. Interesting fielding placement. What do you make of the fielding placements, Chris and Ollie? Oh, Ollie's not here at the moment, is he?
No, Ollie's not here. I would like to commentate a little bit more on the placements, but firstly I'm colourblind, so I can't see the red markers, and also I'm watching this on my iPhone, so can't really see.
First boundary of the innings. Matt Hobson drags the ball through mid-wicket. 8 coming from that Millard overhead. Maybe it was a mistake to open with the spinner. Chris, I didn't realise you were actually watching it on a small iPhone, but I'll run through the field placements for you in a second, as that's the end of the second over. Beginning of the third, it's big field still on. We've got a mid-on, mid-off, mid-wicket, deep square leg, short cover, point, deep backward point. Looks like a slip and a gully, and the ball's just been played by Drew for 4 between slip and gully. The yellows are off to an absolute flyer here. The openers are already on 13 for the partnership.
Have I been missing anything, boys? Sorry, but dinner is required.
You missed a one-on-one singles match, 1 fall between Triple H, Harrison Abbott and Dan the Destroyer Smith, but apart from that, just a couple of terrific shots to the boundary.
The shot ended in the rest of the match ended in a no contest as they made up and loved each other.
I heard that Drew ran out and started a disco, so there was a DQ.
Where is Drew? Let's find where Drew is. Can anyone that's seen Drew?
Let's all play a game. Where's Drew?
Excellent bit of fielding there. Alvader's not concerned at all. Who's fielding where, Calvin asks. I'll be honest with you, I haven't got the foggiest. Look out for the players' names. Is all I can really tell you, to be honest with you. They could be fielding anywhere. As Big Phil carries on steaming in. There's a fielding change. We've got a deep cover now, but no mid-off. Deep mid-wicket as well. Or Cal corner.
Wait there.
The ball goes to just in front of square. Millard carries on. Spike being a little bit pricey in the first over. Single first ball. I think it's going to be about early wickets here. The Reds are going to need to take early wickets. We saw the pitch was troublesome from new batsmen. Another single there from Hobson to backward point. You can see on the confidence graph, Matt and Drew are both in the orange at the moment, start the red. Let's see if they can move that forward into the green. And that's when there's big real trouble for the Reds if these two get in.
I can see exactly what they're looking to do with Millard. Tempt them to play the straight drive down the ground. Use that spin to edge into the slip. Very cunning ploy. Straight out of the University of Cunning with Professor Cunning.
Yep.
It's a good ploy. It seems to be working a bit better in this over, but Jason's first over was 4 singles in the first 5 balls before 4 in the last. Is it going to repeat itself? No, a single to the boundary to finish the over. 5 coming from it. Matt on 9.
I think the problem is this partnership has to go ASAP. If they let especially Drew get in, it will be curtains. But we also know the moment that Matt Hobson gets in, we can see some beautiful...
Oh, he's been edged behind just as you talk about that. Phil bowls at 89 miles per hour and Drew just caught behind by Chris Beaton. Trying to cut a ball that came jagged back into him. Drew was just about getting set, we thought. They were just talking about that, Chris, about what these openers getting in, that it could be carnage for the rest of the team.
Well, is that about to expose a soft underbelly?
Could it be commentator's curse? But no, what the Reds needed an early wicket. Mike first ball off the mark.
One thing I will say is that was terrific bowling from Edwards, full and around the off stump to tempt the drive from Drew.
Oh, I agree with that.
That is tomorrow, Calvin. The next game will be being played.
Yeah, that'll be the Greens versus the Blues. It's Dan and Ollie's teams. That'll be at 2 o'clock tomorrow. During that broadcast, we'll chat about when we're going to show the remaining games as well. Into bowl. Mike does his helicopter, and we get a single from him. He's doing all right. 2 from 2. It's a good start. He's taking the bails off. I think Phil's a bit annoyed with himself there. Matt on strike now.
I do have to ask, Beefy, being the experienced seasoned pro you are, where did the term helicopter originate from in cricketing circles?
Well, when it comes to Mike G, as we saw the replay.
Yeah, was there a particular player that played that famously, and so the term came about, or was it just, or is Mike G the originator, the inventor?
The way Mike G plays it, I think Mike G is the inventor. I think JC just called it one day because he looked like he was imitating a helicopter while doing that shot. I see a change of bowling here. Dimmy Fernando coming into the attack, right arm fast.
Well,
I think
we
he's
will
been in
see.
cricket for a while. I think he's been in cricket for a while, the helicopter shot, but it depends on which passport Mike gives you to look at and how old he is.
This is true. I think the helicopter shot that most famous one that I know of is Dhoni's, I believe. I'm sure on the chat people will correct me, but it looks nothing like how Mike does it. I promise you that.
It would be interesting to find out where the inspiration for the shot came from, Mike. Was he watching the IPL one day and saw Dhoni come out with it, perhaps? Or helicopter or not anyway, we'll see whether it helps him fly or whether it's a crash landing for
how
single
Mike
figures.
Plays it, Mike plays it like with like a vertical bat where I think it's horizontal more for Dhoni. And playing over the top, there's Hobbo. Bit airy, but safe. I love the fact that Dan's responded to Calvin's message so quickly. If you follow best helicopter shots in cricket ever, Chris Love's on the ball. So's Dan, so thank you for that, keeping everyone well informed. I can't follow everything, I can't, but this
apparently, according to Chris Love, the originator of the helicopter shot was Sachin Tendulkar. Should probably make more sense. Inspiration in his childhood, perhaps. Young Mike G.
Plays an edge
watching
on
his
purpose.
idol Sachin.
These two.
No, thank you for riding that, Chris. And if anyone else has had an experience of playing a helicopter shot, please write in and let us know what that experience was like. We'd love to hear your cricketing stories over this famous shot. 909-606 is the number to text in on. Please let us know.
Don't text that number. Disclaimer: don't text that number. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Best thing I've heard all day. Perhaps we should set up a Fury Rate number and see if we can raise any funds.
Yes, we do need a new club.
Would you like to set up a fund of everyone paying a fiver to shut me up? I reckon you'll make quite a bit of that.
No, you're entertainment.
No, I'll pay. Only a fiver, I'll pay a tenner.
Yeah. There you are, guys. If you can raise £200, I am banned from all the remaining live streams.
What about the club in general?
The cricket club in general. We'll set another We'll set an upper limit on that. You got to tempt them. Got to market this. So 200 to be banned from the live streams, and what should we say? 500, 1,000. I'm banned from Mears Ashby for life.
Yeah, if you want to go
Not
that
a
much.
chance. As Mike plays a forward shot into the space for a single, he's doing really well here for the Yellows. Maybe a good decision by Ben to bat him at 3 here. Maybe even push on to be the opener for his next game. Ben, what are your thoughts on your batting lineup? How, if you can even remember what it is?
Beaten, just to let you know. Just to let you know, I've just forwarded you a 500 quid, so keep your shirt now.
Once it clears my bank, I'll turn the mute button on.
Thank you.
Oh, Edgy! Andy's caught it! That looked the umpire said no. What happened there? No replay either. We can't see what happened. Did he perhaps
Was it his shoulder?
No ball? No.
Oh, no. I think it hit shoulder. Did he back into the attack? Well, still in the attack. Matt Thompson, who plays it into the space for 1. I thought Mike was a goner there.
Well, I thought it was plumb out. I mean, I know you can have some shocking decisions from village umpires, but that's right up there with the best of them, I think. I suppose just moving on to the form of these players, last season contrasting fortunes, I believe Hobson averaged something like 70, whereas Mike Gunnar-Sakara was struggling for some runs last season. How do you fare their fortunes during this season, you two?
Well, if we do get any cricket, it would be an absolute godsend to start off with. But yeah, hopefully with Hobson playing more frequently, it'd be nice to get him in the runs in the first team, and also Mike supporting in the second teams, obviously with the seconds just coming up and winning the division actually. It'd be nice for him to kick on and start getting some more runs again.
Yeah, I do wonder with the style that Mike plays, whether the change of division might bring, you know, a couple of quicker bowlers into the team's lineups, which you can maybe use the pace from to just nudge them over to the boundary, and then obviously the odd short ball, as we previously mentioned, the trademark helicopter shot for 6 or 4.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harrison. He is going to get his dad in. Had to have a word with the umpire. Tell him he's not going to be able to use his square again if he doesn't start producing unbiased decisions.
Calvin into the attack. It'd be good to see how he bowls.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin has recently had a child, so I would imagine a little bit of fatigue from that. And also just the time demands of dealing with a newborn. I suppose it's going to mean that time to train and work on his bowling in the pre-season ahead of this virtual league would have been shortcoming.
Well,
obviously nothing can substitute natural talent, but we will see whether how he fares. I have a bad feeling about this.
Well, I think with Calvin obviously having a newborn, I think the reaction times and his quick awareness and stuff like that of obviously having a child, I think that will pay favour with him in the game.
Yeah, and obviously just to add to that, Calvin, if you're watching from your household, congratulations. We're all very happy for you indeed, and wish the best to you and your now slightly extended family.
Well, as I like to see, Calvin has kept this quite a nice tidy over, only going for 3 at the moment, a very tidy over. So, obviously natural talent that he has got, even with having a child, but all in all, I think he's having a very good game. He hasn't really done anything with the bat as such, obviously getting out for a duck, which was a real shame, but his real talent is in the bowling side. And only going 3 from it in his first over.
Indeed. And I'm just going to try something a little bit experimental, perhaps. We're going to see if we can go live to someone. Just going to have a look and see how well this works. Just give me 2 seconds.
I know. I've not heard Beefy for a while, so I don't know where Beefy has gone. Yes, Calvin. Just like in real life, mate. Just like in real life. What is this, an episode of Bloody Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? 4 questions?
You'll see. Assuming they pick up, of course. Which, like most of my exes, doesn't appear to be the case. Not that I've had any exes. If there's anyone out there that you know who might be interested in me, please let me know. No, we're having some technical difficulties with that. Well, we'll see if we can try and get live on the boundary shortly and have an interview with the captain and see whether we can bring it to you live. But for now, watching a little dink there through
Calvin has just popped up and said ring him. If you want to ring Calvin, ring Calvin. Give Calvin a ring. We can talk to him about his bowling.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to see if I can feed it through my microphone and see whether how well this works. If not, we might need to get hold of a speaker.
Just remember, if we do ring you, please keep it PG, not PG tips.
Although, if you can bring me a packet of PG tips, I could murder a cup of tea. Okay, we'll see if we can go live on the boundary.
Give Calvin a ring. Let's get him on.
We'll see how well this works. We might have to come back to you, Calvin, if no one can hear you, but we'll give this a go. Are you on loudspeaker?
Hello?
Calvin!
Hello?
You are live on Ashby TV.
Yes, please.
Definitely do not swear. We don't want to make this the only broadcast that we do. So, we'll just give you a moment to bowl as you hit it straight into the batsman. Very thoughtful of you. So, how do you feel this over's gone for you so far? Only 2 runs conceded from the over. Wait.
I don't think it's gone too bad, to be fair.
No, I don't think either. Especially with the blistering start that they had. Certainly seems to have slowed things down for you.
Yeah, very true.
True.
Yeah, it's very true, yeah. True, mate.
Ollie, is there anything you'd like to ask Calvin at this point? While I have him live on field mic.
Calvin, Oliver Foskett Brown here. How are we?
One
Well,
thing I will say is I can hear everybody's conversation 3 times.
no, that's not
Well,
very
as the
good
wise
start.
baboon Rafiki said in The Lion King 3, any conversation worth hearing is worth hearing 3 times. Wise words indeed.
And can I just say it's nice to hear that you're all staying safe.
Yes, we're glad everyone is staying safe on the chat, and obviously yourself and your family that has now been extended with a lovely baby girl. How is the family?
It's fine. Yeah, the family are very well, thank you. Yeah, the kids are bored, obviously. Well, one of the kids is bored, obviously, not being at school. The baby's doing great. Well, Ted's just Ted, you know. But yeah, it's good, thank you. How about yourself?
Very good. Very good. There's a switch here from Matt Hobson, a very interesting shot from him.
Not the shot I'd have expected from him. Normally a very technically sound player, very orthodox shots.
So obviously we'll mix it up with a bit of cricket, and obviously as we've got Calvin online on the call at the moment. So Calvin, obviously with the lockdown happening at the moment, what have you actually been doing?
Well, not a lot, to be fair, other than watching the cricket that you're now doing. Trying to find some work when there is any. We're just enjoying family time, mate, spending time with the family. Because there isn't really much else you can do, can there?
No, there's not a lot we can do, but family time is the most important time. Was you obviously looking forward for the cricket season coming up? It's a shame it's obviously been cut short with obviously playing. We would have been playing a game today, which we actually won at the start of the video. We actually beat the Saints in a little game that the captain, Greg Reese, has actually been sorting out for us. But what were you looking, obviously, to achieve this year? Obviously, you took the most wickets last year at Mears Ashby. So, obviously, you took the most wickets at Mears Ashby last year, obviously getting the bowling boot. Congrats on that. What were your aims and goals this year?
Because I've been batting very poorly at late, and if I'm able to retain the trophy again, then why not? It's every man for himself, really, but it's all for a good cause, all for an amazing club with some amazing people there, and let's try and win the leagues again.
Yeah, that is the main aim. Obviously, the club is a very special place, obviously in my heart, and obviously everyone that is involved in it, everyone pulls their weight and pulls their heart, sweat and tears into that club. And obviously you joining a few years ago, you've really settled into the club. Obviously you've made lots of new friends, including myself. Obviously you've brought your family down and introduced everyone, and you really welcomed yourself into the club.
Yeah, I have, and it's actually, I appreciate actually being at a club where I'm actually well liked, and also where I actually fit in, because it's one of the best clubs well, I'd say it's the best club I've ever played at, to be fair. I don't think there is, I don't think actually there is another club out there that could better it.
And I'll tell you something, Calvin, I can second you on that.
Yes, and I will third those remarks.
Yeah, I totally agree. It just all would be nice now is, obviously that this horrible virus goes away, and maybe at some point, we maybe have to get a couple of bigger games in at the end of the year. This year, I think we have to go through next year to be fair. But I'm going to have to try and sort something out. But the main thing is, as long as we're all staying safe, then that's all that matters. At the end of the day, cricket is just there for realistically something to do, I suppose, as a bit of a pastime until you get the viruses like this. So we'll have to just wait and see from there.
Indeed, and just to interrupt quickly, if you had a start of the season debate on your Mac bingo card, make sure you tick it off. You're welcome, Matt Hobson.
I'm just going to interrupt you boys, as Hobson's moving along quite well. These two are putting on a bit of a partnership now. I think they're at 50 partnership, Mike and Matt. But and the Yellows look way on top in this game. Look, it's going to be the key for the Reds now. Guys, I've got to actually let you go. The feed will carry on without me, but I'm actually off to work, so I'm going to watch the feed on my phone. I can hear you, Calvin. Hello, Calvin. I wish you all well. Enjoy the rest of the game. I think Yellows are favourites at the moment. Good luck to Ben and Greg. I'll speak to you all later. Bye bye.
Well, that is the end of Stuart Aggers Gray. Just left now with myself and Oliver Forskett Ground here live at the Mears Ashby Cricket Grounds. And Calvin, any final words from yourself before we turn our attentions back to this fascinating encounter between two cricketing giants that you'd like to add? Any thoughts on the game so far you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks for giving me the ring and being able to come live with you. Hope to see you all soon. Please just all stay safe. If anybody needs to talk, you know where we are. Just come and talk to us. If we can help you, we'll help you. Just enjoy the rest of the virtual games. And I'm sure, no doubt, hopefully you'll hear from me again if we go live again. So thanks very much for the call. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you very soon.
No doubt. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Calvin.
Thank you, Calvin. Look after yourselves and your family, and we hope to see you soon.
Certainly. See you later.
Look after yourself. See you later. As obviously everyone knows, obviously with Beefy going, we are a little bit delayed behind the video, so we'll try and commentate as much as we can, but it will be delayed. But obviously having these little chats like with Calvin and everyone else, much appreciated. It'll be good to know if everyone else is safe, what everyone's been up to, if they've learnt anything new. I know someone who is off work at the moment and they're learning French, so only blind watching Only Fools and Horses, but they're still learning French, so it'd be good to hear from anyone. And obviously,
I know someone that's learnt has been learning how to play the piano for 6 days and has learnt a whole piece, both right hand and left hand. You had
anyone who's up for a chat, just let Beaton know, give him the number, we'll ring it through, we'll have a chat and see how everyone is. So Matt is moving along very nicely. Obviously I'm a little bit delayed at the moment. They've only just bowled the ball, so obviously you've seen something different. He is 40 off of 47, doing his bowling very nicely.
Indeed, just a very consistent, considered innings here, just going at just under a run a ball. The kind of innings we'd expect from young Matthew Hobson.
Interesting shot there.
Yes. You'd have thought we'd have learnt sooner or later not to put the commentator's curse on them, but...
well, at least we've got rid of one of them.
Yes, he is now on a car straight down to the train station to cause misery and pandemonium to the good commuters of the London North Western service towards London Euston.
So Millard to carry on, 4 overs for 22.
Indeed, into Gunnar
Mike
Sakara.
Brown, quite an interesting shot there.
Yeah, a little bit of a slog across the line. I'm sure he won't mind me saying.
It's slightly worrying that actually Dimmy actually looks kind of like a pit like Bopara.
Well, when Dimmy had hair, it's an easy mistake to make. I saw a photo of him the other day, and that was quite a shock to the system. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was on Mike's profile, but I don't know. But yeah, very, very good-looking chap in his youth.
So Millard to carry on, 3 dots at the moment. We've Gunnar Sakara on strike. He's trying to... he's found the gap just for a quick single. Well, Mark Gunnar Sakara, it won't be a quick single, it'll just be a single. By the looks of it, though, the Reds are starting to reel the game back in, I believe. Reds are still on top, but they were a lot further ahead than what they were.
Indeed, but the run rate's still under a runner ball, so plenty of time for Ben's team to get back to just flick off the singles and just keep this ticking along. They don't have to do anything rash here. The early good work by Dhruv and Matt was bearing fruits and rewards.
Yes,
so yeah, and end of the over there.
You've only 3 coming off it as well. Dimmy to carry on. Pride run rate at 5.33. And they are just underneath that.
Dimmy would be the one I would attack at this point, and certainly Mike looking to do just that, but a swing and a miss through to the wicket keeper. But certainly with the extra pace on the ball, Dimmy would be the person I would look to attack, especially with a deteriorating pitch. There is obviously the risk of hitting into the rough and having movement off the seam. But you would have to say that's a better bet than trying to bowl to Millard at the minute. As Dimmy runs in again. And
I think the pressure is starting to kind of mount a little bit though, because the dot balls are starting to come more frequently as well though.
They are again, but they only require 127 off 141. Now obviously this is a marathon, not a sprint, and I would rather have a Paul Radcliffe style batter than Usain Bolt at the crease at the minute. Because again, all you need to do is just flick off the singles, a couple of odd boundaries, and head back into the pavilion for a cold brew.
I wouldn't like a cold brew, but I'd have a hot one.
Classic fraudulent slip there as Fernando runs in again, bowls out through the offside, and that's picked up at backward point.
I do think that the pressure might start mounting to them if they do start to get too many dot balls. And it's good to see Jack now coming on to bowl.
Indeed. The only thing I will say about the bowling is perhaps it is worth putting in a slip. The line that Dimmy is bowling is outside the off stump to tempt the drive, but there's no one there to pick up the edge. As Gunnar Sakara there hits it through to square leg, no run there off the bowling of Gardner. Good start to the over for him. Again, charging in. delivers the ball full of a length through to backward point, and that's again picked up. Pressure is telling, and pressure makes a diamond, as we all know. Gunnar Sakara again at the crease, square cut through deep backward point, and again that's thrown in, and they will take the single. Hobson on strike. Field changed for the change of batsman.
Lovely shot from Hobson. It's a shame I actually wanted him in my team, but I also got robbed of him as well, so I got left with what I had.
Can I just ask, is there a player that you didn't want in your team? Every player that has seemed to be at the crease, you have wanted in your team?
There's 4 players that I did want in this team that I am very annoyed not to get. And that is a lovely shot.
I'm just going to interrupt you as that goes up in the air.
Gunnar Sakara's hit a 6. He's hit a 6.
Well, I must be drinking. Gunnar Sakara, a terrific shot there. Beautiful lofted drive. You could paint a picture with that. Monet, Van Gogh, get your canvases out. That has sailed over the boundary.
He couldn't hear you, he's only got one ear.
Point well made as Gardner comes in again. And this one hit out towards...
And they've snuck a 2 as well.
Deep extra cover. Snuck a 2. Very good running from the 2 here. End of the over. Little bit sporadic bowling there from Gardner. Will need to tighten up his line.
The captain, Greg Reese, can smell a wicket in the air.
Fernando in again, full of a length through towards extra cover as the fielder picks up, and there will be no run there. Looking now, just coming up to the 2-hour mark of this game.
He's pulled out an absolute blinder from Matt Hobson. Greggy, you smelt that wicket in the air, and you've actually got the wicket. The big wicket of Matt Hobson. A well played 44 off 57 balls, but he is heading back. This game has been turned.
The one thing I don't like to toot my own horn, but as we just see the replay of that again, I just want you to have a look at the action behind the stumps as I take an absolute worldie of a catch. Just have a look at that again.
In comes Lewis Cole.
Nah, never with me. Never with me.
Lewis
Safe
Cole,
hands beaten, they call me.
Safe hands, but not very good with the bat.
Very true. Chokes when he gets to 30. And bowled in there as Coles hits it again towards the deep gully region.
It was a very late cut from Lewis to bring in.
Indeed, very daring shot to start with. Shows the confidence of the man.
Like I said, I think these dot balls are adding up, and that's why I think that Matt wanted to go a bit harder at the ball when he's ended up edging it behind.
Indeed, but I would still say the onus is on Ben's team for the victory. Again, just 114 needed off 122. Still under a run a ball, and they're ticking those off nicely as it's picked up from mid-off.
I'm not sure at the moment.
Beating the wicket-keeper.
At the moment, I'm being swayed into Greg's team. Greg seems to be pulling this game back in his bowling choices.
Well, we'll see how the outcome is, and if you have a particular prediction on who is going to win as that's hit up in the air through extra cover and picked up in the deep, they'll take one off that. If you have a team you think is going to win this, please write in and let us know. We'll read out some of the selections.
Yes, please write in. Please write into, we don't actually want your letters, but pretend you are actually interested in the game anyway. PO Box W3T or whatever.
Indeed, little nudge there from Gunnar Sakara to the leg slip, no run. Prodding the pitch, seems to think there's a bit of action going on. I think this is like putting a pipette into a colander. Things are bubbling here, a Bunsen of a wicket. as that's hitting towards extra cover. Again with the prodding from Gunnar Sakara. Not happy. Not happy at all.
He is used to the Sri Lankan wickets, maybe being a bit harder.
Indeed. And possibly again, because of the Sri Lankan wickets, possibly a bit more inclined to favour the spin.
Yes. Even though he's just opened up his arms and hit an absolute beautiful four.
Well, I do wonder how many can hear us. That is an absolutely superb shot. Clearly heard us, got angry, red mist descended, and bing! Straight over the top.
I don't think the red mist has come. I just think that curry that he had last night's just starting to come through. He's trying to get on with it so he can go.
And that does bring up a discussion point for you to write in. Favourite curries round Northampton? If you want to recommend a curry house for curries, please write in and let us know, because both of us are starving and could do with a takeaway.
And also, most of them are closed anyway.
Indeed. Field changed again. Gardner in towards Gunnar Sakara. Again out towards deep extra cover. That will get picked up for the single. Ticking away, and end of the 20th over here, halfway through, and indeed slightly behind the run rate, but a good partnership brought up for the second wicket.
I think with us talking about curry, I think the best curry that we've had, and that's a loopy shot. The best curry I've had, I think, was at Mears Ashby. The person in question, Mark Gunnar Sakara and his lovely family, cooking Mears Ashby Cricket Club a lovely curry night. They do it every year, and it's absolutely amazing. So hopefully we don't miss on that this year.
Indeed. And indeed, once we have more information about the start of the season and the easing of social distancing regulations, maybe we can look at putting on something like that very soon. But of course, the demands of various people will determine that, but it certainly was popular in previous years as Gunnar Sakara nudges that through to third man for the single. 3 off the over so far, off the bowling of Fernando. 105 required off 117 as Dimmy revs up the motor again, bangs it into the pitch off a good length, and that's just blocked for no run. And good to see the Griffin on the hats of the players. The Griffin being the logo for which Mears Ashby has originated from, as that's again blocked for no run. Ooh, bit of a wayward shot there into square leg, picked up by wicketkeeper Beaton. End of the over there. As again, 3 coming off that last over. And change of bowler here with Edwards coming into the attack. Interesting change, Ollie.
Yeah, I think very interesting. I'm surprised Greg hasn't brought himself on yet. So, don't know, what's he trying to mix up?
Indeed. Concerns will of course be that he is fitting a square peg into a round hole here, and perhaps a bit of out-of-the-box thinking needed, especially with the results gained in the first innings from this wicket with slow bowlers, as that's nudged through for a dot ball. And again, 105 required off 112 as Edwards comes in again. Short of a length, and that's hit off the back foot towards mid-off. They'll take a single there. And while we're on the subject, it's very good to see Phil Edwards back in action after an extended period away with a hip problem, hip replacement of course 2 seasons ago, as that's hit very full and driven into mid-wicket. No run there.
Yes, it's a lovely seeing Phil Edwards back. Not as much as we want, but obviously He has been a member of the club for many years now. As Lewis has just hit a lovely 4 along the ground off of Edwards. But yes, it is a shame we don't see him as often, but obviously, like Calvin said, and that is a great ball to follow up. It is obviously a hobby. Obviously the club, we are a huge family, but it is just a hobby. That is a real shame.
Indeed. Just going through the... Indeed, continuing with the seamers. Interesting over there from Edwards, looking at the bowler graph. Variation of length there, short, full, Yorker length.
Oh. Calvin finds the outside edge, but he needs to have a word. I think he needs to bring a slip in.
Yes, we said it a few overs ago, folks. Live here from the Mears Ashby grounds. No slip in place, and in fact, they have now put that in place for Calvin. As Green runs in, shot through the covers, through the gap to deep cover. As that's thrown in, they'll take 1 run there. Patient innings played here. Reese smelling a mini collapse. They won't get a mini collapse with a ball like that. Should have been left wide ball, almost a certainty there. As they take no run. A little bit of a loosener there from Green as he comes in again.
Calvin, if you're still
Bowling.
watching, Calvin, I just want to see what you'd think about changing your normal run up to the run up that you've got on the game. What are your thoughts on that?
Indeed, please write in and let us know. Hit out towards point again for no ball. 104 for 2 in the 22nd over. 97 required off 103. Your words starting to go from prophetic to realised, Ollie. Run rate starting to creep up a little bit. Now coming to very, very short of under a run a ball as end of the over comes. I think you may have had a point to your comments.
See, I don't just talk rubbish. Longer the better, lol. Would help me lose weight. God, I better get a longer run up then, Calv.
I can tell you, I tried it during my short-lived bowling career at Ashby and would not recommend. There's a reason I had to run 5k regularly. That's it.
Lovely shot from Lewis to pick up 2 with Mike Gunasakara. Yeah, I don't just talk rubbish. I think Greg's team has been bowling actually very tight lines, so to kind of slow down the run rate.
Indeed, packing 4 on the offside and bowling mainly just outside the off-stump line, making it very tricky and tempting them into a couple of risky shots across the line to try and pick up boundaries to keep the score ticking along, as we see evidence of that just there into mid-wicket.
Harrison, you alright, mate?
Edwards in again, bowling. And that will be no run into cover. The interesting thing to consider, though, Ollie, is that we come into the 23rd over for the loss of
Gunasakara opens up his arms and it's a 1 bounce for 4.
What a terrific shot there.
10 off the over from Phil Edwards. A very expensive over in the end.
Indeed, and we thought those varied lines was cunning bowling tactics, perhaps back to school for Edwards, an F- there from the over as we finished the 24th over there. 116 for 2, 85 required off 96 as Green runs in again. His
That's
fourth
Green, has
over.
he just found the man? Oh, just bounces short.
Indeed, a little bit lucky there from Coles, and you have to wonder whether his young age is affecting him here. The lack of inexperience in the run chase might just be getting to him.
I believe, Calvin, the run-up doesn't need to be shortened. I just think, with my problem as well, we've just got to aim at the stumps a bit more, mate.
Green again, bowls in, short of a length through the gully region. That's picked up for dot ball. Another field change this time. 5 packed into the offside this time as Green comes in again short of a length. And that will go down to backward point for the single. Green in. As they just nudge that through to mid-off, they will take the single there.
And that is Mike's 50. A very good patient 50, obviously coming off of 62 balls. Some people, including the captain Ben Cole, actually slated having Mike in his team. But he seems to be doing wonders for him.
Indeed, a fantastic 50, and that will be a figurative middle finger about to the doubters at the
Maybe
start
open
of
with
this
him
game.
next time. No,
Yes, this is no chance of that from Cole. But if Gunnar Sakara can keep this going, then he will force his way into his plans. There will be only one option. As we try to get trending on this broadcast, hashtag glue, as suggested by Ben Cole. Certainly has been the glue that stopped the mini collapse that Greg Reese predicted earlier, as Edwards comes in again just outside the off stump, and they'll be driven through extra cover for no run.
Waiting.
80 required off 88, and I have to think, Ollie, this is certainly in the balance at the minute.
I believe so. Greg's team has raked this back in very well. They've been bowling very well, even though they didn't get many runs.
Indeed. I think the final chapter of this story, though, is going to be the wickets in hand. Only the loss of 2 wickets, and I believe Greg's team were 5 down by this point. It would be interesting to know the full stats.
But all I'm thinking is, as well, with what's happening, is the pitch maybe deteriorating a little.
Indeed, but I think we've had the worst of it now. I think any scuffs and scrapes that appeared in the pitch had happened by about the 15th over, and I think it is a telltale sign of Ben's captaincy that he hasn't brought the spinners on quicker. Sorry, Greg, that he hasn't brought the spinners on quicker.
I believe, Beefy, because obviously we can't see the scorecard and none of us are writing it down, because you're meant to actually be here. I believe Matt Hobson got 46. Please correct me if I am wrong.
I can perhaps do a little replay and find out for you, Ollie, as we continue in the 26th over. No, I can't. Such is the unique way in which Mears Ashby is funded. I can't rewind the tape. As a terrific 6 there from Gunnar Sakara. Again, same position as earlier, through cow corner. This time a flick of the wrist as opposed to a loft off the back foot. And straight over the boundary. Perhaps a touch lucky to miss the fielder there. But a terrific shot nonetheless. Well timed. As Green in again. Shorter length again. This time loosely edged through the slip cordon as the wicketkeeper picks up. Of course, the quick reflexes of Chris Beaton. Why would you need a slip in there?
Because you're wicket keeping.
All bit of confusion there has allowed run to slip through. They'll take 2 there. 9 off the over, 70 required off 80, 131 for 2. As Green comes in again to Gunnar Sakara, and that'll just be blocked. A beautifully timed shot. I didn't think he got hold of that, but clearly found the middle, as they'll take 1 there.
If we do have the captains on the WhatsApp group, it would be good to think what the outcome you both think the game will finish on. Do people think Ben's going to win? Do people think that Greg's going to pull it back?
Indeed, please comment live on the YouTube channel or on the chat what you think the outcome of this result to be. As the end of the over,
With
very
Jacko coming
loose
back
over
in.
there from Green, couple of short balls in there, and again continuing with the fast pace. I do have to think that Greg has to mix this up and bring himself in and lead from the front. Another short ball there through to Gunnar Sakara off the back foot through the covers, and they'll take 1 there. Ollie, if you were in this situation, what would your plans be to try and break up this partnership? As it's missed there through to the wicketkeeper for no run. What would your thoughts be?
I would certainly have to bring in Greg or even Millard again, just to mix it up. I think they're working on the pace very well. With Calvin commenting as well. Yeah, you'd have to definitely mix it up. They're enjoying the pace, obviously with your field spread out as well. You got Mike comfortably in, but if you actually have had a look at the innings that he's played, it's a lot of his runs have come from pace bowlers hitting the 6 and the 4 against
short
Jacko.
through to third man, just short of the man out there.
So I think what you need to do is bring a spinner in and mix it up with Lewis and Mike, obviously not facing much spin in their innings. With Mike heading straight over the top for 6.
Indeed, another terrific shot there, driven over the boundary with precision. And just when will they learn?
It looks like
terrific shots.
It looks like Gunnar Sakara has had his onion bhaji this morning.
Indeed, cometh the hour, cometh the doubters, cometh the man. Mike Gunnar Sakara again bowled in, this time just full of a Yorker length through mid wicket, and they'll take no run. End of the over there.
Obviously we are at a bit of a delay, so we're saying about the 6, but you've already seen it. With Calvin Green carrying on.
Indeed, not the decision I would have made, but then we all remember my attempts at captaincy.
I think Greg will be very angry at the moment, obviously watching this. I think he will be pulled into the office after this game to have a word. What the hell was you doing?
Indeed.
A lovely play and miss. Great ball from Calvin.
Questions I think will have to be asked about his future captaincy.
I think that's a bit early on only his first game, to be fair, because obviously we don't know what runs through the mind.
Well, no, if you have a bleeding wound, you fix the wound.
I know,
if you
but
have
also,
a failed marriage, you end the marriage. In this case, why would we want to see this torturous reign continue if he's going to insist on playing seam bowlers on a spin-friendly wicket and not even put a slip cordon in?
If she's got a bit of money, though, why would you end the marriage?
To get the money.
So,
divorce settlements. This is why no one does prenups anymore.
But the thing is, with obviously the way this game's going, I know you're saying it's not working. At the moment, it has been working because they have actually roped this game back in. Yes, there has been a few big shots from Mike Gunnar Sakara and a few innings from the other 2 players, obviously Matt Hobson. But obviously something is working. I think Greg just has to get into that next gear to then take a few more wickets, and I think the whole game will change.
I disagree. 55 from 68. The Benson can just afford to take the singles here, and I think it needs a game changer. And at the minute, there is no intent on doing that, as we see a dot ball.
Mr. Stuart Gray on the WhatsApp group has just put, if the Yellows win from here, Chris has to eat his hat. Is there any protein in your
unfortunately,
hat?
I'm not wearing a hat. I'm actually wearing a bandana because I refused to shave my head during the lockdown, and so my hair's got a little bit long.
Then you'll have to eat your hat that's been in your cricket bag for 8 months. Sure, that will taste very good.
Indeed.
Jack Gardner still in.
If you can write in with favoured accompanying sauces to eat a hat with, if you've ever eaten a hat and have a recommendation of a sauce, please write in to us and let us know what that is, so we can prepare for the potential event of Yellow Team, Greg's team winning.
I've eaten a few things, but a hat ain't one of them.
No, I haven't had a diet plan yet that has had one, but maybe Matt Hobson has. And Hobson, if you're reading and can give us some insight into this, I know that fabric can be a great source of potassium and carbohydrates. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts on your experiences with this. If indeed you have eaten a hat before, please let us know.
I think what we need to take into account, though, which we haven't actually really spoken about, Mike G is playing a fantastic innings here, but Lewis has actually been a very good secondary partner for Mike, rotating the strike and finding the boundaries when needed.
Indeed,
So
I made a comment when he was...
mature innings.
Indeed, I made a comment when he was
was
struggling on 15 and noted his inexperience and rashness. But I do have to agree, and I think you're right. Again, excuse the pun, I eat my hat on that one.
Yeah, I think he's played a very mature innings, and I think it is being shadowed by, obviously, Gunnar Sakara on 70 now.
Indeed, as Gardner runs in again from the oak tree end, and that's hit through to cover for no run. End of the over. Dix coming from the over. Much tighter length there from Gardner, that over. Tighter line.
Phil Edwards, very interesting from Greg. I believe Greg might have a plan up his sleeve. Greg, if you can comment out on the WhatsApp group to see what you want to do.
To impersonate Bob Willis, I think it's a disaster. It's a shambles. What is he thinking? Bring himself on.
I'm afraid, Bob Willis, I think you're speaking absolute nonsense at the moment, because I think Greg has got a plan. I think he has pulled this game back. Yes, it does look very strong into Ben's favour, but I think you could come up trumps.
Well, at least if I come up trumps, I won't be drinking bleach at the end of this.
No, but you will be eating your hat.
Indeed. As that's nudged through mid-wicket for a dot ball, off the bowling of Phil Edwards. Gunnar Sakara at the crease, 71 from 80 balls, 154 for 2 in the 30th over. Comes in again and just lofted over the top. I almost wonder whether that was catchable. I didn't quite get the height of that, Ollie. Did that seem a catching opportunity to you?
I thought it was a catching opportunity, to be fair, but Phil has had a new hip, so he is a bit rusty out of the game, so I don't think he just wanted to hurt his hand and maybe be in the next game for next week.
Indeed. There was the helicopter shot.
I think you are a lot more delayed than me, though.
Indeed. As delayed as a London
there we go, like I told
service
you,
train.
Greg Reese knows what he's doing. He's got the wicket of Lewis Coles. He's brought on the pace again. I believe that looked like a slower ball from Phil Edwards. Greg knows exactly what he's doing. He's got this game.
Well, we'll see that again as he charges in. You've probably already seen this, but indeed bangs the slower ball in.
Lovely lower catch as well.
Well, what else would you expect from
To be fair,
Beaton.
Lewis 28 off, I believe 36 deliveries. It went quite quick, so I couldn't really say it. But actually, a very good innings from the young cricketer.
Indeed, and I think his work is done this innings. He's set the platform. Now
With John Hill coming in.
Into the crease, right-handed bat. Typically an opener, but can he adapt and play a different role, changing from Macbeth to Romeo, the loving hero of this piece at the end? Can he stay there to flick off the winning runs for Ben's team? 156 for 3 at the minute. As Gardner in again, full of a length.
That's a lovely shot to find the gap from John Hill.
Indeed, terrific work. A lovely little flick off the hips, a little bit too full there from Gardner. 41 off 52 now required. As they flick that
I'm
off the
surprised
back
he still has Gardner on.
Indeed, I would agree with that, but we can argue all we like, speculate, protest, eat our hats. These are the cards that Greg has chosen to dealt in this great poker game of cricket. Gardner comes in again. Bowls in on a good length. That will be blocked through the covers. Wisely played by Hill. Nothing rash at this point required. No loose edges. No rash shots to be snuffled up. And that will be hit down the ground towards mid-on. Picked up for the single.
No, they've snuck a 2 in. Very cheeky.
End of the over there, and again a tight line, a tight length from Gardner. Do you think Greg will bring him back for one more as we see a change of bowling?
Sure. Change of bowling into Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson could bring anything to this game. Ryan, Mike G wants that 100. I think he does. As he's just pumped one back down the ground for just a single. Not going to risk anything. As you can see, Stephen, all 7'4" of him.
Indeed, and just to speculate, I kind of wonder whether that's the length that Thompson should be bowling. We know Mike is a handy player off the back foot, and that is his preference. Can be prone to the LBW when pitched up fuller. But time will tell. 166 for 3 in the 32nd over as Thompson comes in again. And will bang that outside full, outside the off stump. Would you have a slip in here to Thompson, Ollie, perhaps?
To John Hill, I would. It's quite hard on Mike G at the moment. Obviously, he is quite settled. I'd try and keep Mike G off strike as much as possible. As soon as I say that, John Hill goes one straight through slips. Yeah, I'd have a slip definitely in for John Hill. Mike, not so much at the moment. He's quite settled. He wants that 100.
Again, a short length through the covers, and they'll take no run off the back foot there from the bowling of Thompson. Again, comes in to Gunnar Sakara, who will hit a very late cut through to backward point.
He'll take the strike as well.
Well, would you expect anything else, Ollie?
From Mike, the way he's batting, yes, I would. So he's carrying on with Gardner. I'm not too sure about this choice.
No. Is Greg going to regret spinning it up a bit, if you excuse the pun?
Current run rate is at 5.12 when they're just required at just over 4 and over.
Indeed, as that's blocked through to the mid-on region for no run.
I think at the moment what Jack has actually mixed up here is he's kind of going for a little bit of a body line to Mike instead of actually letting him free his arms, because when he did free his arms, and that is a lovely shot from Mike only for a single, but when they did let him free his arms, he did hit over the top for obviously the 6 and the couple of 4s that he's hit. So I think with Jack going a bit more body line to Mike, is actually kind of quieted it down. And is that a drop catch, or is that just drop short? Leave your comments down, because I'm not entirely sure there.
I believe it was just dropped short in that square leg region, Ollie.
I believe Calvin is correct. He agrees with me. Spin, spin, spin is the answer.
Indeed, and remember we were talking about this many overs ago, as far back as the 10th over, that change from seam to spin may be required. But interesting shot there, and is that out?
Is that the wicket that's gone? No, umpire's not interested. What has that hit? I'm afraid we can't see it.
Perhaps a bit of pad first onto the body and looped up.
Yes, Jason Millard, he's bringing in the spinner. He's obviously heard you, Calvin. He heard that you want the spinner, so he's brought the spinner on. Look, required 30 from 36. All to play for here, I think. I still do think Ben might come up short.
I wonder whether it'll be a case of too little, too late. But time will tell.
I'm still swaying. Was 200 a good score in this game? After he's just bowled that rubbish. Swept for 4, lovely shot from John Hill. John Hill, 14 from 10, 26 needed off of 34. What I will say is I don't think we'll be actually, when the game has finished, I don't think we will be able to end the game. And is this a wicket? And it is the wicket of John Hill. Calvin, you was correct. Spin is needed. Calvin is... John Hill is out. Sorry, Calvin. Millard picking up the wicket, going for the 4, but suckering John in to go, you know what? How about you try and hit me again? Suckered him in.
Indeed.
And has took the catch.
And like Charlotte's Web, Millard has spun such an array of deliveries that has stuck John Hill dead in his tracks.
If you have ever actually played with Millard, with Ben Cole walking in, Millard doesn't actually much spin the ball. But surprisingly, he has spun that one.
Indeed, and after that wicket...
Can Ben Cole rescue his team with the first ball going for 4? Ben Cole on the attack, thinking I'm not letting my team lose.
And on that note, at the end of the over, Ollie, I will be departing shortly for a short while, and I will be back shortly.
Right near the end of the game.
Indeed, I will be back as quick as I can.
Well, you lot don't get bored of my voice. It will get boring, I'm afraid. Sorry. But I will try my best at the end of the over. Very strange over, obviously, with Jason going for a couple of boundaries, 2 4s, but also picking up the vital wicket. With Jack Gardner carrying on, I wouldn't agree with that. Jack just back of a lane, starts the ball with 91.9 mile an hour, starts off with a dot. Ben Cole, what's Ben Cole thinking right now as captain? 21 off 29 deliveries, Jack comes running in. Bit of a late cut, I keep saying we need to get a slip or something in place there. So, off strike, bringing Mark Gunnesakara on strike. Jacko running in, he has been quite expensive. Oh, I'm surprised he hasn't gone for the catch there. I think what Beaton has just gone to do is I think he's gone to go get his hat. Because I think he might be struggling and eating it. Lovely ball from Jack, just to Mike, just for the single. Get it right in that block hole, make sure he can't swing his arms. Mike's played a very important innings here with 79 off 94 deliveries, but this is a very good over from Jack so far. Late cut again, I keep saying we've got to get that person in there. Was that a single? Yes it was, I didn't see him run. It was the single though. Brings Mike back on strike. Another one straight into the block hole. Shame it hasn't gone to someone, just another single though. Don't think Mike's won this many singles probably in his whole career, let alone in one game. And that is the end of an over. I think a very good over from Jack Gardner. What does Greg do now though? Only 4 from it. 17 off of 24 is needed with Millard still staying on to bowl. The current run rate is up. Mike on the back foot punches it just for a single, brings Ben Cole on strike. Ben Cole wins a bit of a swing and a hit, so let's see if he can try and clear the boundary. Will Jason Millard try and sucker him in? Just a nudge down the ground for the single. Will they tempt the 2? No, don't tempt the 2. Mike Gunsakara on strike, just 2 off the over so far with Millard comes into bowl. Just the single. Has Ben walked out there and said, look, we've got balls to come, let's just nudge the singles round. If a boundary comes, it comes. 14 off of 21. Ben Cole has gone for it. Just found the man in the deep though, only a single. Ben Cole must need his dinner, he must be a little bit hungry. Brings Mark Gunsakara back on strike. 82 off 97. Jason floats a little bit of a wide one out, only a single. They are rotating the strike very well, these lot.
Come in, Houston, I have returned.
Sadly, Beaton has returned.
Indeed. Although when I go off for the second time, it may be for the last time. But we will see whether I'm able to see the conclusion of what has been a fantastic match. As the end of the over comes there, the...
Calvin Green, can Calvin Green mix anything up?
Well, known as a death bowler, no doubt capable of the task at hand. We saw in last season, especially in a top of the table clash.
Oh, he's giving it a wide. I think that's very harsh on Calvin's behalf. So 10 off of 18.
Well, I think at this stage you have to be a little bit harsher because all the balls are no doubt going to go out there, wide Yorkers to try and stop the batsman from scoring with just 10 needed off 18.
This is an interesting game. 9 off of 17 needed now. We're going to Sakara on 83. Played a very important innings, but can they pick it up?
Indeed. The one thing we will note, though, is that unfortunately Mike can't get to his 100, but this has been a fantastic innings. And as our statistician Stuart Gray pointed out earlier, this makes him the leading run scorer in the Virtual Cricket League, as that's hit out towards point for no run.
Mike, he's flicked him off his legs. Has it gone all the way? No. One bounce 4. Interesting. I think Calvin tried to go for the Yorker. I think it went too full.
Indeed. A costly mistake there, as Mike eats that up like the bargees he had for breakfast, as Ollie pointed out earlier, and hammers that away for 4.
Ryan, come on Mike, he's backing Gunsakara.
Oh, little bit of mistiming there, back foot shot off a full delivery.
I think that was unlucky. Fair enough, 5 off the over so far, but I don't think that was a wide.
We will just point out to the viewers at home that unfortunately Mike can't get to his 100 now with only 5 left, but it has been a fantastic innings.
Just a single and only over.
Indeed, and you wonder how they will finish this, whether they will just look to knock off the singles now or go for
keeping on with
all lands, hope and glory.
4 to win. 4 to win. What does Mike do?
He
just
nudges
it
that
down
out.
The ground for a single. Why are they all out there? Let them tempt him over the top. Let him have a swing. If he gets it, he gets it.
It's decisions like this, Ollie, that makes me feel that the only way is a change of captain going forward, but the selectors will decide that in the coming days and weeks.
I don't think so. I think Greg's team has done an absolute fantastic job bringing this game after they were 4 down for not many runs to bring it back to actually make it a contest. I think no change of captain is needed. Millard just bowls it slightly short just for a dot. No, I totally think that Greg has done a fantastic job. Fair enough if they take the loss today. But anything can change in 9 balls.
Indeed, and we've seen plenty of twists and turns as this game has gone on, as that's hit out towards the offside through deep cover by Gunasakara, and they'll take the single again.
No, I think Greg, obviously, in this game, I think all he needs to do is just regroup with his team. They've played an excellent game. There just might be 10 to 15 runs.
Scores are level, and that's the single through to point. That will decide it.
That is the game.
And Mike Gunasakara, the pride of Sri Lanka today, as Ben Yellow 11 wins by 6 wickets. A fantastic display by Mike Gunasakara.
Need picture of the scoreboard.
I have the picture.
Thank you.
I have the picture. I will send that on. But there you see 100, 200 all out Greg's Red 11 with Stephen Thompson top scoring with 57. And a terrific bowling display from Tony Coles and John Hill, 3 for 34 and 2 for 30. But Ben's Yellow 11, that gargantuan performance from Mike Gunasakara and the platform set from Matt Hobson with 44. Just too much for the Griffins. Greg's Red 11.
So obviously down at the bottom it says player of the match is John Hill, but who do you think your player of the match was?
Well, I think there's only one person for it. I feel that Mike Gunasakara set the game and set the platform and changed this game. If he'd have got out, would that have exposed the soft underbelly of the middle order where it's hit out or get out? If you think of players like Ben Cole and people like that.
I totally agree. I think it was a great game from Mike Gunasakara, rotated the strike lovely and hit the big shots when he needed. I think all Greg needs to do, I was very surprised not to see him bring himself on. Either he must have a slight injury coming into this game, so he just focused on his batting, but hopefully if he has got a slight niggle, hopefully he gets it sorted for the next game.
Well, it's possible, but the complete wrong decision, I feel, in this case. Just partial spin would have possibly changed the course of the game with how much he can turn it. I think we needed to see more Stuart Gray-esque captaincy decisions there of at least a few spells from Greg Rees to try and change the game.
I totally agree. Well, there's nothing more we can do. Obviously, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Dan's team versus myself, Oliver's team at 2 o'clock. Back on. Hopefully we can sort out the delay problem. Obviously it has kind of not made the video right at the end, but I hope everyone has enjoyed it. Drop messages, comments, whatever you like, down in the comments, down in the WhatsApp group, things we can do differently, rubbish we can carry on talking about. And if you enjoyed the video, just let us know. That's all we want.
Indeed. And I suppose as we wrap up here, there will be a party on the streets of Northampton for Mike Gunasakara. As we said, the pride of Sri Lanka today with a beautiful 90 off 106 balls. we'll see whether he can continue this form in the coming weeks and months as the Virtual Cricket League continues, and we hope that you can join us there. And again, as I said, for the match at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Right, hope you've all enjoyed. I'm signing off, and I will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Enjoy,
Indeed.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and look after each other. See you all tomorrow.
Bye for now.
Young Mug out, mate.